Hey guys, what's up? Disney Nuts here. How you guys doing? As you can see, today we're at Animal Kingdom and we're talking about one of the subjects that I get asked a lot, which is framing and getting that really good composition for your photos. For me, this was one of the most difficult things that I struggled when I started taking photography, because of course you can take, a bunch of shots and stuff like that, but how do you frame it so it looks nice, catches the eye and gets that good, nice popping thing, and something that looks different from what everybody takes. So today we're going to actually be walking around. I got no specific plan. We're going to be shooting random things here around the park, and I'll show you what I do and what I look for when I try to, frame that shot the way that I like it. All the shots we're going to be using one lens, which is this one, which is my Sigma 17-55. Now this is the regular lens. It's not a fancy lens, like it's not an ultra wide angle fisheye. It's just a standard lens, and we're going to stick to this one today. So all the shots are somewhat the same style, so you guys more or less can get an idea of what we are doing on the shots today, okay? Okay, so the rule that we're going to be using today is actually called the rule of thirds, and that is where the camera will have these 9 squares, and I like to use the intersecting points to sort of line stuff up. For example, the lines going up will match up with the trunk and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and shoot some photos so you can see what I mean. Okay, so here is using the live view of my camera, and you can see I got those 9 squares divided by those lines, which is the rule of thirds. And like I mentioned before, I'm going to align those bottom intersections on the trunk of the tree, and I'm going to try to make them that one doesn't touch the one is not in the sky. I want them that both are on the tree trunk. And I'm going to bring it down a little bit, and here we go. There's our shot. Now, if I try to shoot this, portrait mode, shooting upwards with my camera, it will not fit all on the image. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to tilt it sideways like this, but I'm going to try to make those three, dots, that intersection that we're talking about, I'm going to try to make it touch right here. I don't want it to touch on the sky. I want it to touch right here on the edge, which is where the water starts and the tree is. So here we have the live viewfinder. And you can see where I'm going to put that little dot right there on the intersecting point. There we go. Got the shot. Notice that many of my shots I'm taking them through the live view, which is the screen in the back of the camera, which is why it is so easy to frame certain things. Now in my case, since I like to take lots of night shots, I usually use the tripod most of the time. And using this grid option in the back of the live view makes it really easy for me. So check your manual to make sure that you have the option to turn on the grid on the live view. And the reason I said that as well is that when you usually use the viewfinder, which is the one on the top, it doesn't have that option to modify the grid that is showing on through the through the lens. So make sure you check your manual, see if there's any way to change it. If not, same thing applies. Try to align the stuff on those intersecting points of the lines and you'll be fine. Okay, the next shot is actually a really cool one that I love taking because it's a tall portrait shot which looks really good on Instagram, and it is this one. And we're going to be turning our camera sideways to be able to take the shot upwards. Now for this shot, I'm going to be doing the same thing. I'm going to make sure that the 2 points are down here touching the tree. I don't want one like, touching the sky or something way up here, but I want the 2 of them touching here the tree, which follows the trunk of the tree going upwards. Okay, let's take the shot. Okay, so if our luck, it started to rain here, but we're still going to press forward and taking the shots. Little rain ain't going to stop us getting those cool shots. So let's keep on walking around. Okay, the next one is actually a really cool shot, which I'm sure you've seen many times, which is where you focus into something really close, and then in the background you got everything like blurry. In this case, we're going to be shooting our fellow here. And what we're going to do, we're going to line up the 2 dots on the bottom of the intersecting points, which is right here. We could do something like this, or if you want, you can actually put it right on the eye like this. And it looks really cool because that way the intersecting point is on the eye. Or you can actually just give it a little tilt like this. Again, I'm still using my intersecting point right on the center of the eye. Now make sure when you're taking these types of shots that you make sure the focus is on the eye and not on the tree in the back. Okay, moving a little closer up to the tree, here's another really cool shot that I've taken a bunch of times, and it is actually including the fence here to give it that really cool going up to the tree effect. Now, as for the rotation, because I like to give it a nice cool rotation like this, I'm going to try to align this handle right here with the, so it's actually right here, it's actually straight line, so that way it gives it a really cool effect, and here it is. Now, another cool thing of the rule of thirds is you can actually apply it to people. Like, for example, we're going to take a shot of this guy here with the bubble gun, and what we're going to do, we're going to line them up on the right side where the points intersect, and it gives a really cool effect. Okay, now for this shot, since there's a lot to capture, what I'm going to try to focus on putting my two intersecting points on the top rocks, being one here and one here. That way I am tilted in the same angle as the rocks, and I get a really cool effect. Now you can also take it up here and you can bring it down a little bit and include some of the fountain. But make sure you don't crop the top part. Okay, the next shot we're going to take is actually right here, and you can see I already have my camera and my tripod set up, and I want to try to freeze the water where I get that really cool glossy look, and there's a whole video I did explaining that, so I'll put a link on the top. So with here, what we're going to do, we're going to put it in an angle like this, and I'm going to put the intersecting points on the tip of these two parts. There's one here and one here, as you can see in the image. I got those intersecting points touching on the tips, and I adjust my ISO accordingly. I'm leaving it as auto, but I am putting my f-stop all the way to f18 to force the camera to have a slow shutter speed. Now you can put an ND filter on this, but I'm lazy, I'm not going to put it on today, so 0.5 seconds, which is what it's telling me it's going to be, should be enough to give somewhat a silky look on the water. Okay, the next shot that we're going to do that I think will look pretty cool is actually right here, looking at the mountain. Now you can see I'm pretty far away, but the reason for that is that it will allow me to shoot over the people's heads, which is really cool. For example, here's how it looks, and here are the people underneath. So you can see they do not come out on the photo. So, which is always awesome because you can get shots even though the park is full. But you gotta, get the camera at least pretty high, or at least until your eye level, so you can shoot over the people. Okay, so the same thing I'm going to be doing here like I did in the other photo. I'm going to be putting the focus points, the intersecting points is what I'm going to be using, which you can see on the top right here, and it's in an angle which is the same angle as the rock, so it looks balanced. And I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I want to see if I can get that glossy look on the water, so I'm going to be setting my f-stop to f18 and ISO as auto. That way the camera is going to be forcing the shutter speed to half a second, which is good enough to give a little bit of silky look to the water. Let's take the shot. Continuing with the Pandora shots, I'm going to put my camera here in this side position, and basically I'm going to be aligning the intersection points on the top of the rock, as you can see right here, and I'm going to make sure that it is level as the rocks are, so the shot looks really cool. And I'm going to do the same thing as we did before. We're going to be putting f18, and that way forces the camera to go with a 0.5 shutter speed, which is enough to freeze the water. Now again, rules are meant to be broken, so if you're adjusting and you know your photo to somewhat get that nice cool intersecting line points, and you find that it looks a little bit better, a little bit to the left, a little to the right, go ahead and do it. Remember, your eyes are the deciding factor of the end result of your photography, so don't feel you need to be locked down into these types of rules. This was just one of the rules that I used to start, and again, rules are meant to be broken. Okay guys, so that's it for here from, in this case, my home. Hopefully you can use these tips and tricks to your advantage when you head over to the parks. And remember, experiment and have fun with it, because that's what makes Disney photography fun. Now, if this is the first time watching this video, my name is Disney Nuts, and I do theme park photography as well as food reviews with my wife. So if you like what you saw, you want to see more, hit that subscribe button and the bell to get notified. Until then guys, stay awesome. See you.